in. Hey, do I need to set the alarm? Okay. She does. That's around here. Test. We good? You loaded with questions tonight? No, I'm good.
Got some hard ones.
Damien was wanting some trivial stuff.
All right, guys, welcome into the War Dog Coaches Show. We're a little late tonight. I had that's 8:50, so we're about almost an hour behind what we normally would be. But I'm coaching a youth football team. We made the playoffs, so we got a playoff game Saturday. Coach Gardner came out tonight and talked to all the teams that are still in the playoffs, which out of the Miami youth, all but one made the playoffs, which is good. But the kids were excited to have Coach come out and talk to them a little bit, and the parents and the coaches, and I think it makes a big impact on the younger generation to see the guy they're going to play for one day.
Well, I mean, stability and things, just to have a relationship with them at this age and the parents, and it's to have success with the football program is not just the coaching staff itself; it's the community and how it's supported and how it's projected as far as teaching the right things and the fundamentals at that age is so important. But to make the game fun as well, you don't want to burn a kid out or have a bad experience and not ever give football a shot again. So,
right.
Youth football and the impact it has on a football program is just amazing about the transition between the time that they had at that age to the success they're going to have at the next level. So it goes hand in hand.
Again, we appreciate it. I know I can speak for the other coaches, and that we appreciate you coming out and giving those guys a little bit of time today. I kind of originally tried to set it up for Monday, and then you had games that night, so that wasn't going to work out for us. But I've been telling my kids we was going to have a special guest, and they've been driving me crazy wanting to know who it is. And so tonight was a pretty good treat for them to be able to for some of them to know you at first graders. A lot of the older kids know who you are, but it was nice for the kids to be able to just put a face with the name and see who the guy is that's leading the program now. And they go out on Friday nights, they watch the War Dogs, and now they know who the guy is that's leading them. And we'll be leading these guys one day. So
that's what we talked about in the past. And these guys here is, these guys are celebrity NFL status players to the first grade, second graders, and they don't realize what kind of impact they have on them when they see them out in public or at a Friday night football game. And the character and the things that the kids are watching and how they're gonna respond to that is huge. And these guys, it's tough as a high school athlete to understand that they have that much influence on a youngster, but they do.
Yeah, and I didn't really realize it either until coaching these first graders. And they would ask us in practice or games if they could do this because the big War Dogs do it, and we was like, wow, they're really paying attention to this stuff.
Yeah, they do. It's scary. I mean, if you're not leading right, it's a scary deal because you don't want to influence a kid in the wrong way, or they see some kind of bad attitude, bad character and things, and they'll try to implement that as as far as in a bad way.
Yeah. And, Brandon Riley, Tyson and Keisha Lawson, I'm probably leaving somebody out, but they do a great job with our youth program. They've been leading it for several years. So, a lot of the success that we're having is because of their leadership in that youth league, youth program. So we appreciate them and the hard work they put in all the time. And I know Brandon, I think he has a boy that's 8th grade.
Yeah.
And
Braylon's an 8th grader, and then the one's on the 5th grade team that's undefeated, right?
Yep. So Brandon's done a great job leading that, and I'm afraid when his son's a 6th grader, he'll probably be done after that, And
he sure has it in the right direction.
He does.
There's been a lot of tremendous support, and it's a great feeder program for our middle school.
Yep. And that's what I was trying to teach our kids is, if you can teach them the fundamentals and the things that way you don't have to teach it when they get to 7th grade. They already know those fundamentals. I mean, you're going to teach them your offense and your defensive scheme, depending on what you have there. But just teach them the fundamentals, how to tackle. Not to grab a face mask is a tough one. Because them little guys, they'll just grab whatever they can. And sometimes it's the face mask. And just blocking, keeping your hands inside. Just those little things that have to be done right.
A lot of people, kind of curious on what age to start their kid and this and that as far as, football and the safety of it. And obviously it's a tough physical sport, but I think the worst thing that a youth football program can do is not teach the techniques and teach some of the wrong fundamentals. And now you've developed bad habits that you're having to break and reteach at the middle school level. Sometimes if you don't have a youth program that's as well ran as ours or respected, it's almost, a cancer per se for the kid to be involved in that, because then, you have to reteach everything, and they think they've already learned these concepts where they're, doing it the wrong way. And so safety's be a big issue, obviously, on how they're tackling and things. But, I mean, we don't have a problem with that at all, and that's very, pleasing to see.
Yeah. Yeah, even in 1st grade, we're teaching them when you're going to make that tackle, your head has to be up. You have to see what you're tackling. Because a lot of them 1st graders, come in like that, and that's the first thing we tell them: don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. Keep your head up. You got to see what you're tackling. If you don't see what you're tackling, he's by you, and you're laying on the ground. And that was one thing we really worked on hard this week because we missed a lot of tackles last week. So that was one of the things we really worked on: the tackle wheel and hitting the dummies and stuff like that. And so far, it looks good in practice, so we'll see if it translates on Saturday. We may all look like fools, all of us coaches that thought it worked good. But anyway, the youth are doing good. I know our team, the 1st grade, plays at Veneta at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. I'm not sure times on the others, but I know the 2nd grade, the only team that didn't make it was 4th grade. And one of them plays at Grove, 2 of them play at Westville, and 1 plays at Tahlequah. So we got the close one at Veneta. So hopefully we can survive and move on. But anyway, let's get going on. Well, Damien, did you play in the youth league here?
Yes.
3rd grade.
Fortunately, I didn't move 4th grade after my 4th grade season, but came back from 7th grade.
7th grade. Okay. So who was your coach in the youth back then? You remember? Josh Lacey. Josh Lacey's he's the head coach of our team, and I'm one of the assistants on that team. Of course, he has a son, Isaac. Is that right?
Isaac Rogers.
Oh yeah,
And
Leslie. That's his name. I always get them mixed up. But Leslie plays with you guys, and then Isaac, his nephew, and then Camden, his youngest son, is our quarterback right now. So, all right. So let's talk about.
The boss is calling me, and he tell him to tune in.
Oh, he's calling you?
Yeah.
Well, Chad Davis should be on watching, shouldn't he?
Needs to be.
He likes to come up and get on the show. He likes to talk and on the air. He always comes up in the 3rd quarter during the games, on the home games, and he likes to talk on the air. But yeah, I'm surprised he's not up here grabbing a mic and filling in some space. But we played Grove last week. I'm biased as can be. I'll always say that I'm biased, but I really feel like that was a game we could have won.
Oh, definitely.
I personally feel like we were the better football team. I think we put drives together and scored our touchdowns with drives, and it seemed like they big played us.
Yeah, we gave up too many big plays. Our Achilles heel the last 2 outings, even against Tahlequah Sequoia. The same thing is, we went up 21-14 there against Grove in the 3rd. Damien's big catch and swung us a 7-point lead there, and we come back and get them in a situation where we feel like, you know, it's attainable to get a stop and get the ball back, and then momentum's hugely shifted to our side, and we give up the big wheel right out of the backfield for 65, 70-yard touchdown, and we're right back in it, and you know, it's a nail biter from there on out. But it's just something that we have to overcome as far as, you know, our secondary is not played very well as a whole. I mean, it's not necessarily an individual per se. It's you know, all of them as a whole, but that's one of the things. We're pretty young back there, and we've got to get better.
Yeah. You know, the I'm not sure what the play's called. I'm sure you have a different name for it, but the reverse flea flicker.
Yeah.
That thing about gave me a heart attack. I could see those receivers wide open, and I mean, my voice was skipping, and I couldn't wait for him to throw that stinking ball. You know, it was a great play, great design, and it was ran great.
I just, you know, some of that stuff's hard to simulate in practice, and you know, we'd put it in the week before, knowing that something that could help us in a big play situation, and just to see the kids execute it, and especially with the way Thornberry caught the ball, being pass interference on top of it.
Yeah.
Because he's wide open early, but Gavin just can't get the ball out quick enough.
Right.
I mean, it's not Gavin's. It's just the way the play's designed and things. And the kid played catch up, and Gavin, probably one of his longest throws of his career as far as the ball traveling in the air. He covered 50 yards with it. And then Josh's concentration at the end. But, you know, when we get the ball in Damien's hands, he draws a lot of attention. So that was the plan, is to bring him on the reverse, and it kind of sucked everybody up. And
who else was wide open? There was two receivers down there wide
Keaton
open.
Jinks coming from the backside.
Okay.
But he ran a little bit too far into the picture as well, because he's supposed to be in the middle of the field. But once the ball is hang time and everybody just kind of flocks to the ball. So he's closer than maybe what he should have been. But best thing is the play worked and tied the ball game up in a big, you know, turnover situation that we Casey defense. You had him as defensive player of the game. Casey Perry had scooped that fumble up, and that was a big momentum swing on our side. So we came and hit him with the big play right there, and it was exciting just to see the kids, like I said, execute it and put us in, you know, right back in the game that with that much magnitude as far as district play and rivalry and everything else. We gave ourselves a chance to win.
Yeah. But, and you talk about Casey Perry. I mean, I thought the kid had a great game.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm hoping it's like his breakout game, you know, because I would love to see that out of him every week. I mean, he was putting pressure on the quarterback. He was making tackles in the backfield. He was recovering a fumble. You know, I mean, he really played hard. And he was making tackles downfield. I mean, I know you don't want your defensive end making tackles downfield, but I mean, that showed that he was pursuing. He wasn't giving up on the play.
Well, he's playing that outside backer, and I think it's just a matter of repetition. He's getting better each week and getting more comfortable with his position because he hasn't played there, you know, until this season. And he's doing some things on his own with Coach Billings, studying some film throughout the day. He has, you know, a type of schedule where he can get with the coach throughout the day. They've been studying some key tendencies and things like that. And I think it's helping Casey play faster because he's actually spending some time of his own and concerned about his performance, and it's showing in a positive way.
Yeah.
So that's very pleasing to see.
You gotta love it when a kid wants to watch film and wants to get better.
You have to be successful.
Right. Now, I had a question on him. Oh, his arm. I saw after the game he was in a sling.
You know, initially it was on the quarterback sack. You know, kind of self-inflicted. He sacked the quarterback and went over top. All of his weight was on his shoulder, on his own weight. So obviously, first thing you think collarbone and this and that. But team doctor for right there on the spot with Dr. Trimble with Orthopedics of Grove. He's a great guy. He looked him over for us, and he thought that just maybe a sprain. So we've been kind of nursing him back this week, and he's still game time decision if he's going to be able to go Friday or not. But we hope to have him.
Yeah. But you know, you talk about the big plays, and you know, going into this week, of course, we knew Grove's starting running back was out. Had a freshman starting at running back. I was kind of excited about that. And then this kid's fast.
Oh yeah, we knew that.
Wow.
You know, ball security's, you know, kind of sketchy at times, and we knew that as well. But he's a game changer. I mean, first or second play of the game, he shoots out the gate. It's one missed tackle, and he's gone. And then, you know, to have a freshman backfield as far as a quarterback, and that's Dr. Trimble's son.
Right.
He threw the ball really effective. Didn't do anything to hurt him, and kind of managed the game. And you know, he gave win as well. I mean, we talk about the big plays and stuff. He probably threw 2 passes that accumulated for 160 yards.
Right.
And then I think they had just over 230 or something like that in the game. And, we have, what we've got to get better at offensively is we rush the ball for 30-some carries for 70 yards.
Right.
That's pitiful.
Yeah.
That won't win very many football games. But what we did win was we won time of possession, and like you said, we felt like we sustained drives. But like I said, when we do that, we got to convert points, which a lot of times we did. But then we turn around and put our defense on the field, and we give up a play like that. That's just a huge swing.
Yep.
So I don't think they were going to be able to put drives together had we, kept the big plays in check.
Yeah, and really the defense played well, other than the big plays. I mean, other than that, they really kept them in check. As long as they didn't let the running back get outside, let him get outside, and his speed, we just couldn't, keep up with him.
I'm pleased with our effort on both sides of the ball. I mean, I feel like the kids are there. We just got to make some plays, and then the bigger plays, we have to understand the situation better.
Right.
We got to put ourselves in a place to make success. And we get them on 3rd and long. We get them in a big throwing down. We seem to get the window dressing, staring at the backfield action and things instead of our keys. We're looking at the wrong things, and Coach Homer's coaching his butt off.
Oh yeah.
And trying to, but like I said, we're kind of inexperienced in a couple spots, and we're playing with what we have, and we're coaching them, and this week was the major focus was focus on the positive, don't dwell on the negative, because we can sit here and beat a dead horse all week on it was obvious who got beat or the situation, but we got to build from what we've done positively and figure out a way to win.
And when I talked about this last week, and I'll probably talk about it every week, but the adjustments you guys make at halftime are great. I love the fact that we have a staff that is recognizing what needs to change.
We have some great coaches, and that's I commend them on that.
You're talking about Brad Homer, and I know what kind of competitor he is. I watched him play out here. I played with his brother, and I've seen him play, and I've seen his other brother play, and they're all competitors.
Oh, yeah.
I played for their dad, and they were raised to be competitors, and so I have no doubt he's coaching his butt off.
Yeah.
He's glad to be back in this War Dog blue, and he wants to win. So, and I know you told the kids out there tonight that you thought you had a staff that was going to stay together for a while. And that's key.
Yeah.
You get a staff that's good, keep everybody here, and grow things and be successful. And I'm excited about the future.
I think that's important for a kid too, to know that the stability's there.
Right.
It's not just a revolving door. And
Yeah, we had that for a while. I mean, we had since probably, and I may be wrong on the dates, but since the early 2000s, we had kept a coach for more than 2 or 3 years. And then somebody else would come in. Somebody else would come in, and to get somebody that's going to stay here, build something. Because when I was growing up, of course, Bob Homer came in the 80s. I don't remember exactly what year in the 80s, but we were a winning program. Grew up watching Matt Munger and Mike Wolf and Donnie Wood and some of those guys come through. I remember growing up as one of the young guys watching those guys, wanting to be them.
Right.
And then Bob Homer came in, was here for 20 years and had success after success after success. And then once he left the program, that's when you start to see things kind of fall. And then at one point they were bad. They were as low as you could go.
Right.
And so now we're coming back, or we see the things starting to turn and go back the right direction. And I'm excited about it. I know there's a lot of other people that are too.
Till we're done.
Yeah, we'll be
Won't be
done.
that
We'll
long.
be done before an hour. Yes, you probably know it's live.
Right, get in there on the camera.
But Damien, so this season you've had some really good games. It was at Talcoascoya. You had 11, 12 catches. Is that right? 11
touchdowns.
Yeah. And so last week you had another good game. You had some good catches, but it seemed to be they know you. They know you're the guy that we're going to go to, especially for a big play. What do you do? How do you prepare for that?
Really, I just stick to my game. Don't really focus about it. But actually, yeah,
gets bracketed a lot in single. We split him out as a single receiver, and it just allows us to have success in other areas.
Right.
Our kids, got to play off of that to their advantage as well, because when they put two guys on one, then we either have a better running lane somewhere, or somebody else is going to be open. So that's just a quarterback decision. Like, not all routes are predetermined. I mean, we got to make a decision on the play when the play is developing and things like that. And obviously, he's a big time player and makes some big time catches, but he'll hold his own. But we've got to have some other kids step up as well, and we have. I mean, I think Thornberry's had some pretty good games and things like that. He had 2 of the touchdown receptions last week, but I feel like Gavin's doing a better job stepping up and throwing the ball. Something we really keyed on, because a couple plays there late, no timeout. We're kind of scrambling, just throwing stuff up in the dirt and trying to make something happen. And his big catch on 4th down and convert the 1st down. We got a legal procedure on a legal shift. It's very frustrating, the fact that we're not eager to get out there and get set. I mean, one, it falls back on the quarterback, and 2, it falls back on the effort of the receiver, because it had nothing to do with the play, and it was just a matter of effort.
It was on the opposite side of the field, wasn't it?
It was opposite side of the field, and Damian makes a big time catch, converts the 1st down, and we've got 20-some seconds left to go on the clock, and who knows what happens after that.
Right.
But we got to be able to convert those, and but the competing part of it, I mean, him laying out for that, the hitch and pitch, working, and then him having the savviness to know that he's getting caught to go ahead and run out of bounds, and we did some good things, but definitely not content with competing, because losing makes for long weekends.
Oh, yeah.
And the next week, you just obviously the junior high helps a little bit, being that they kind of been winning here lately, and I don't care what levels, if you're winning, it's good. And but what makes that week long to go try to get the next one.
Right. But that hook and lateral there, I thought you were gone. I thought you were going to score, and never even practiced it. But it worked good, and it looked like you guys had practiced it a bunch.
It's a timing thing.
Yeah, it was a good looking play. And
Josh did a good job holding it.
when you got free down the sidelines, I thought you were gone. But they had some speed.
The kid, the one that caught him, had an angle on him pretty good from the top side of the field, and had he not had that depth or that angle, he scores. I mean, there's no question.
And I mean, that set us up in a pretty good spot to try to punch it in there late. Then that was 2 games in a row with Sequoia and Grove that you're right there, and one big play there, and it's a tie game, and anything happens in overtime.
It's frustrating from our side as far as coaches, as we get in that situation where we're out of timeouts, and we burn a couple timeouts there to avoid some penalties and some substitution infractions that were caused due to injury. What people don't understand or see or know is Casey Perry out for an instance. He left the ball game, and defensive substitution. Well, then when you do that, and you throw in special teams on top of it, it got confusing, because the translation of he's out for good, and then not knowing that he was, and it's just a communication error on our part as coaches, and chain reaction type deal. And so then at times we had one too many on the field trying to make the substitution and things. So
at one time I think we had 13 on the field.
Yeah. So we went.
I thought,
we came out of a timeout. We took one and had 12, and got flagged for it. And we come out of timeout and still had 12, and took another timeout. It was very frustrating from the coaching aspect. We didn't do a very good job doing our job and really burn the timeout, but we had to, or we're going to give, it was a 4th down and 3 for Grove, and it was going to convert them to have a 1st down had we not burned that timeout.
Right.
And we still went ahead and took it and got the ball back, but it was very frustrating at the time, just not doing the right thing as far as just a simple substitution thing that cost us maybe.
At Grove, do you have coaches in the booth, or is everybody on the field?
Oh yeah, we have a couple up there, but it's not on them. That wasn't on them. Like, we were unaware. Just the communication, like I said, chain reaction. That Casey was done for the game, and then we get a punt return situation. Then we didn't have the appropriate backups on the field at the right time. And it was just something that we worked on as coaches. That hey, if this happens, you're in charge, of communicating that, because Leland does a great job for us. He is the ultimate call on Leland's fault. Heck no, not at all. But it was just we're going to designate a coach to go see Leland to see about if he's done or not. So it's just something that could have been avoided, and that's why it was frustrating at the end. But like I said, it's a very fixable mistake, but it's something we can't do in a clutch situation right there because that timeout may have haunted us. I mean, had we been able to not just do some of the things that we did at the end of the game and throw the ball in the middle of the end zone where there's nobody at,
Right.
Had we done something better, I mean, we might have a chance to win that game.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys are right there. You're right there on that doorstep, and I think this week, you go
It's winnable.
you go to Catoosa,
They're 0-4 right now.
right, and I think that'd be a place to get back on a winning track, and for district, and of course we got Wagner coming in the week after, but we'll worry about Catoosa this week, Wagner next week. But so when we go to Catoosa, what are we looking at there? What kind of offense?
They run a lot of similar things that we do. They're a lot of spread and try to create some running lanes and things like that. Their running back did not play last week against the Lost versus Wagner. I anticipate him to be back this week, but when they've had their success, they've thrown the ball, and that's kind of been our Achilles heel is to defend the pass. So we've had some kids step up this week in practice and get some more reps than what they typically would. And they're some of our better skill guys, so we expect them to step up and actually participate in the defensive scheme because we cannot be successful with the least amount of depth that we have, that we don't have much. And our best people, our best 11 needs to be on the field, whether it's offense or defense. And I think that's something that hasn't happened. That could have made the difference in the last 2 weeks. We may be more tired, but that's part of football. But we've got to put our best athletes out on the field and give ourselves a better chance.
So speaking of that, last week at Grove, Damien normally doesn't play on the defensive side or not much, and you turn him in late, or was it late in the first half?
He has a pick there.
Yeah.
Second quarter, he has a pick on the 5-yard line or something.
Yeah, that was huge.
And then they got a penalty on top of it.
Right.
So we got the ball somewhere. I started our offense around the 20-yard line or something like that after that. So
is Damien one of those guys you're talking about?
Damien's one of those guys. Damien's the game changer wherever you put him on the field, whether it be a special team or defense or offense, obviously. But just a matter, he locked up and cramped there late in the game. We got to keep him as fresh as we can, but we've got to have him available to compete as well.
Yeah, that kind of scared me at first when he went down, but now seeing him stretching your legs, and they're stretching both. I thought, oh man, he's locked up good if he's got both. And they kept stretching. I was like, oh, he got off. They stretched you some more on the side, but you end up coming back in, so I guess you got it all stretched out. I mean, do you give him some type of fluid or something at that time?
But I think he just wanted to come talk to me. He gets pretty lonely out there. No, Leland takes care of that. But yeah, we have some different fluids and things we can try to get in kids and get them back. And he was able to execute the hook and ladder after that. So
Yeah, that was big. So,
yeah.
you don't have him in that situation.
Right.
That play may turn out different. So I was glad to see him get back in the game. You always hate when you see a kid from his team go down out there, but you're always glad to see him get up and walk off on their own power.
Definitely, you don't want any kid injured. It's a tough physical sport, and it's going to happen. But you don't want to see that. It don't matter who it is.
Did we come through Grove pretty healthy, or
Yeah,
I
I
know we
mean,
talked about Casey Shore a little bit, but
it is what it is. I think Casey's the only real question on game time decision as far as who played last week, as far as injury goes. But other than that, I think we're pretty healthy.
I'm going to go back to Grove. I'll jump back to Grove here because I remember a couple questions I had. Last week we talked about you guys working with Gavin and how he was throwing the ball and throwing off his back foot and not making the reads and not stepping up in the pocket. At Grove, wow.
He done some better things.
He really did.
Like I said, there at the end of the game when we're scrambling and doing some unorthodox things as far as just trying to make a better protected as far as his approach in the pocket and things. I felt like he was kind of getting back to some of his old habits, but I would say 85% of the game, he threw some really good balls, and especially to the boundary and things like that. Thornberry even dropped a couple that he typically catches, and he was frustrated with himself. But Gavin did well. That was one of his things he said when he left here. We had the show with him. He's had Grove on his mind the whole year, and this is his last time, and he understood that. And I think what I liked as a coach as far as the loss is it seems like that we are easily forgetting losses 5 minutes, 10 minutes after an opponent that didn't really have an effect on us. And you don't want it to have a negative effect, but it needs to mean something. And I felt like after we got beat by Grove, some kids took it to heart. I mean, they were upset physically, emotionally, and I want it to be more that way week in and week out, because losing cannot be accepted if you're going to be successful. And when we had the bus ride back home from Grove, I could tell the demeanor of the kids was different than what it had been in the past as far as driving home from even Jay. Right. I mean, we took it more serious, and it meant more, and I hope that continues, because that meant something to me as a coach, because we're too lackadaisical in the loss. And if you're invested and you spend a lot of time, it means something to you. And I felt like preparing for Grove for 2 weeks, and the rivalry thing and things, the kids were hungry. We just didn't find a way to win, and I want it to be that way week in, week out.
But and this is just me. My train of thought here was, they probably knew that was a game they should have won.
Oh yeah. And I feel like there's several others that we should have felt the same way that maybe we didn't.
Right.
Because not off the charts by any means. We could be sitting here tonight 4-0. Right. I mean, all the games that we've played have been winnable.
Yeah. I told my first graders this. When you get out of the car, or in your case, when you get off the bus, you gotta believe you can beat that team. It doesn't matter if they beat you 4 times. You gotta believe when you get off the bus you can win this game. If you don't believe that when you get off the bus, you're probably ready. Yeah. So hopefully that train of thought's in you guys. That even when Wagner comes down, they're beatable. I mean, Pryor beat them.
Right.
They're beatable. You just gotta find a way to do it. So let's get back to Catoosa since I jumped back. So running back that they had last week was
I'm not sure on the status on him.
So we go down to their place. 7 o'clock start as usual.
Another homecoming.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have they seen mine on the schedule, and everybody writes homecoming beside it. So hopefully the kids take that, as a disgrace, and
Absolutely.
Get them a little bit more fired up, because homecoming all it is a distraction for me as a coach.
Yeah. I think we talked about that last week. Everybody picks the game that they think win for homecoming, except for mine. We pick Wagner.
Some of us think we can win it, but Catoosa sitting there 0-4, and they have their homecoming, and it's a winnable game for us, and hopefully it becomes a distraction for them. But we've got to go down there focused. Pretty good little bus trip, probably just hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, and they get a great venue to host the game, and our kids are geared up and hopefully hungry for a W.
We'll be there to bring it to you live. Of course, we always want you to go. If you can't make it, that's what we're here for. We want you to be in the stands for the kids. It's most important. They love the support. They need the support.
And it's been great. I mean, for the community to do what they've done for this group of kids, it's second to none as far as support. It don't matter if we're on the road or out here at the stadium, but these kids, I hope they're not taking it for granted, because it's been remarkable that to be a losing program for the past few years, and to still have the backing that we do, and the people that come out to the tailgates and things, and even traveled to Grove last week. So I mean, it's time for us to get back on the winning trail.
Yeah, it was a pretty good turnout for that little pep rally last week too. You guys were in Logan Grove, I think.
Yep.
But there's a pretty good turnout for that. Kenny Clark brought his fire truck. I think he brought another one this week. You know that?
No.
So there may be like a whole fleet of fire trucks showing up to games. I don't know.
Steve Forado.
Yeah. But so Damien, guys? I mean, you're with them in the locker room, on the field. Everybody tuned in, dialed in. So, what do we look for out of Damian Burks this week? 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. I mean,
Whatever it takes to win.
so yeah, that's all that matters, isn't it? You can have 0 as long as you win. It's good, right? So you guys, you receivers and Gavin, you guys stay and do extra work, or in the off season, you guys work and throw the ball and stuff. Yeah, that's key between the receiver and the quarterback is the timing.
Gavin, the trust, because Gavin at times just tries to make a play possibly when there's not, and even down at Grove, Josh come back and saved an interception. Just not a catchable ball for him, but he wasn't going to sit there and let the ball be picked off either. So
Right.
that's easier for a quarterback to know that he has a receiver willing to do that as well.
Yep. Speaking of that Grove game, we was talking about Gavin. He really stepped up in the pocket and made some good throws. Didn't throw off his back foot as much. I mean, there was a few that he did.
Right.
But man, he can really sling it.
He can.
Whenever he puts his, gets his feet under him.
That's why it was so frustrating early that the ball was always thrown with finesse and too soft. And if he'll drive it with his hips and things, he can spin it.
Yeah, he can. There was one of them he threw. I was like, wow. He's going to get on it.
Let's not talk him up too much.
Well, yeah. He's probably better. He's,
He probably needs to be. He's had a long day, trust me.
but, so, anything else you guys want to talk about on Catoosa?
Go support the guys like you have week in, week out, and hopefully we can figure out a way to get it done.
Okay. So, of course, the stadium, if you don't know where it's at, a lot of you will, but it's right across from the Hard Rock Casino. You'll see lights. It's right there off the highway. It's not a bad trip. Off Turnpike all the way, so a couple of good eating places there close. So make the drive down, support the guys. Of course, I guess their homecoming will be before.
6:20.
Yeah. So we'll be there. We'll be live if you can't make it, but I know the kids will love it if you're in the stands.